Senator Slotkin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Looking forward to working with you. You know, I'm a former CIA officer and Pentagon official. I did 3 tours in Iraq. I worked very proudly for both Democrat and Republican administrations, including in the White House of both. I'm also a Democrat who won in a Trump state, right? A state that we were both on the ballot. You know, I think what's interesting is we don't have to guess how you'll be in this job because you've been in the job before. You are kind of the ultimate Washington insider. You've been in for 26 years in this town. You've been on the Senate. You've started a think tank. You've been in and out of different policy jobs. So you're definitely of this town, and you clearly know the rules well of this town. You've said, and I agree with you, that a budget is a reflection of president's priorities. I think the thing that was really disturbing as a Michigander was one of the things you did 3 out of the 4 budgets that you prepared last time was zero out the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative, this huge program to maintain the Great Lakes, 20% of the fresh water of the world, where it took bipartisan work, including potentially senators in this room before my time, to claw that back. We have projects on treating algae blooms and invasive species, cleaning up some of our bays, making sure it's accessible for commercial traffic. What's your view on the GLRI? Are we going to have this conversation again when you zero it out in the budget?
Have not started, because I'm not confirmed, working on the president's fiscal year 26 budget. I can't speak to those issues, but I'm happy to work with you on your viewpoints as it pertains to that program, and consider all of those in the recommendations we give for the president, and inevitably what we end up coming up here and defending.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was very bipartisan. There's 465 projects in Ohio, 1,200 projects in Wisconsin, a ton in Michigan. So it's something, but can you confirm you submitted a zeroing out of that program 3 years in a row last time you were OMB director?
It's been a long time, Senator. I have to go back and refresh my memory on the specifics of our budgets, but I'm happy to do that in the QFRs.
Yeah. On the issue of impoundment, I know you've addressed this, but if this group on a bipartisan basis authorizes more money, as we do every year for the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative, that you will spend that money in the Great Lakes states where it was allocated for?
Senator, I'm not going to engage in the hypotheticals with regard to the impoundment conversation.
We've heard it. It's okay. So the other question I have is on your views of the civil service, again, as a CIA officer, you know, which is, you know, set up and has been reformed over the years, that's for sure, to provide best assessment and advice to the president. You know, you said that OMB was not an agency where you had a bureaucratic problem, but which bureaucracies specifically do you believe have been weaponized?
Again, I'm not going to get into all of the agencies that I believe have some of those characteristics.
Let's give an example of one. I mean,
well, I think, you know, the Department of Justice is clearly one that has bureaucracies within it that engaged in trying to take out their own president during the first term. The extent to which the FBI goes and investigates someone that comes to a school board meeting in Loudoun County for being concerned about the situation with his daughter, and then gets investigated as a domestic terrorist.
So the director and the deputy director of these agencies, you know, they're at the prerogative of the president. The president, any president, has about 1,500 political appointee jobs that they get to allocate all over the bureaucracy. I don't quibble with that. Do you believe that intelligence agencies and law enforcement agencies need more political appointees to keep kind of management at those agencies?
Again, I'm not going to speak on behalf of a specific proposal that the president has not made.
But what's your view? Would you support a proposal? I'm just asking, you want the job, you want it back. Would you support a proposal to put more political appointees to oversee the activities of American law enforcement at the federal level and American intelligence community?
Again, the president hasn't spoken to that matter to my knowledge, and I'm not here on behalf of my own personal views.
Okay. Again, the feeling that we have, the thing that keeps coming up is, again, I don't quibble at all with the fact that the president is going to put in people that I don't agree with on a policy perspective. That's not my debate. My concern with you and with potential Secretary Hegseth yesterday is that when asked clear constitutional questions about the allocation of money, you can't answer a straight constitutional question. Again, we're going to disagree on policy. There's no question about that, and that's not my issue with you. My issue is the constitutional side, because you are going to swear an oath to the Constitution, not to Donald Trump, just like any other confirmed official. So can you confirm for me, please, that you will abide by the Constitution and current law as it is, not what you wish it to be?
I absolutely will abide by the Constitution at all times.
And your interpretation does not, pardon the pun, trump the interpretation of the Supreme Court or at current practice on the books?
Again, administration goes through a very, very extensive policy process with the lawyers of the Department of Justice to abide by the Constitution.
You can see how this bureaucratic, wonky answer you keep giving, right? You're claiming to be an outsider that says you're going to shake things up, but you're giving the most wonky answers. I just want to hear that when you hold up your hand, like many of us have done in this room, to put themselves in harm's way, that you're going to protect and defend the Constitution as interpreted by the people who are in a position to interpret it, like our Supreme Court. And that's what bothers me about you. It's not that we disagree on policy. It's that basic tenet that a lot of us have had to do in this room on both sides of the aisle. That's all I care about. So with that, I'll yield back. But I wish from nominees that we see across the board, just be straight on the U.S. Constitution.